and we're set to go. Okay, so last week we had a very eventful week on the news front, very much as what we said. The RBA dropped the bombshell. Well, for us it wasn't really a bombshell. We were I was kind of hinting and predicting that may be the case, and we dropped 0.25%, so saw the Aussie dollar plummet down. And then on Friday, non-farm payroll numbers came in way stronger than what was expected, and basically caused the US dollar to move significantly. It's pretty much set the tone for what this year may be. Okay, and that tone being that most central banks around the world are dropping their interest rates, so and reducing and even going into negative interest rates on some occasions, on some instances. Sorry. But the US is kind of going along very well, and if anything, the US is kind of hinting that we may be looking at increasing interest rates in the very short term. So when I say that, it could be as early as maybe this quarter or early next quarter. Most analysts and economists globally tend to agree that by the end of this year, and I know we're only in February right now, but when we catch big trends, okay, so we need to be aware of these things because they help our trends along. So they're all kind of saying that interest rates in the US will more than likely be significantly higher, maybe as high as 0.75 by the end of the year. Okay, now if that's the case, then that really sets a tone for nice trades against the yen, against the euro, against the Aussie. Okay, so just keep that in the back of your mind. It's not going to happen this week, but it's something that we should be aware of. And the non-farm payroll numbers and the data that keeps coming out of the US consistently is coming out at strong figures, and everybody else around them is disintegrating. That's a harsh word, but you know what I mean. They're going in reverse, which basically is accelerating the difference between the US dollar and other currencies. Okay, all right, so what do we have this week? You're looking at the key events or data releases for the week. The ones to keep a particular eye out for, we got US retail sales, okay, coming out on Friday or the early hours of Saturday morning, depending where you are currently situated. We also have Aussie data, employment figures, employment change. We have China data, which affects the Aussie, and we have Governor Stevens speaking on Friday. Now, also specifically in the recent week, which was all resolved, I guess, this morning, the leadership challenge on Mr. Abbott. I have had a few people ask me, how does that impact trading FX? When the leader, the challenge revolt within. Now, as you all know or may not know, I believe Mr. Abbott is still our PM. I think the numbers were 61 yes and 31 or 30 something against. I don't know if anybody knows. Type it in. I'll call it out. Bottom line is, the reality is it doesn't affect as much as a Reserve Bank rate. This is just an internal leadership issue. The party is not changing. The policies are not really changing. So it's turmoil, and it's really more embarrassment for the party than anything else. But it's not really a major factor. I don't think there was even a bleep on the Aussie dollar. All right, so that's for all those people that asked me throughout the week. That's the numbers. Okay, Russell is telling me that it was 61 to 39. I'll take your word on that. That sounds very correct to me from what I remember. Okay, all right, so as always, I guess for this week, because of all the Aussie and all the US data, again 2 weeks in a row, the currency on the forefront for us is the Aussie USD. All right, and we're kind of we'll have a look at it straight away, but this is the one that's going to impact us. Please make note of these times. They're all Australian Eastern Standard Daylight, or otherwise Sydney, Melbourne time. Make your adjustment wherever you are globally, and just be aware of these times so that you don't get caught up in a trade unexpectedly. All right, let's get started. Let me bring up my charts, and we will start straight away. Now I had a huge malfunction on my MT4. I don't know, I was downloading something or did something, and the bottom line is it all crashed, and I've only just built it all back up, so I've lost all my markers on my market. So I'll try to remember from my notes and see how we go. Now, Aussie dollar. A couple of things that I want to talk about straight away. I'm on a daily chart, by the way. There's one thing that I did get asked a couple of times by different people is, Christian, what do I do when I'm trading trend and I get a candle that looks like that? Now, in particular, what I'm actually referring to when I'm circling this candle for you is I'm referring to the fact that it's got a fractal at the top and it's also got a fractal at the bottom. Okay, that's the major thing that I want to make clear. Usually when we get a candle like this, it's usually that the market's done something drastic like that, and you may get a little body in there somewhere, or even a doji, and we end up with a fractal down the bottom and a fractal at the top, and basically it's created an expanding trading area. Okay, as you can see here, it broke lower than that and then went back and broke higher than that trading area, hence the two fractals on both sides. The question being is that was being asked was, if I get an inside candle on the other side like this, which way do I trade it? Can I use the bottom fractal to try and break out in that direction, or do I use the top fractal and try and break out in this direction? Okay, which is a genuinely interesting question. Now, to the first time I saw the question, the way that my brain works is when I see this situation, I kind of just ignore it. I never actually really considered trading the trade. When I thought about it a little bit longer, it is a genuine trading opportunity. So you could trade it in either direction. It would be a little bit more aggressive, I suppose. But the bottom line, what I'm trying to say is you need to address that and then incorporate that into your rules of your trading plan. So then if you see it pop up, at least you know how to react to it. You will know exactly what to do, and that you can take advantage or not participate. Okay, is that clear for everybody? So where particularly that candle had the fractal at the top and at the bottom and created a bit of confusion. All right, so if we were using it in a downtrend like this, and we're trying to get some kind of an entry, I guess you could have said there's an inside candle right there, and you could have triggered into a trade there, and you would have got stopped out over there. Okay, if you used it as a counter trend trade, well, actually your order would have cancelled out. Can you just one moment, guys, 1 second. Apologies, I'm back. One of the disadvantages of having a home office, I just got a delivery delivered, had to sign for it. Okay, so if you were trading it in the other direction, basically this little breakdown would have cancelled the trade, so you wouldn't have been triggered in this direction. It would have been a cancelled order. Alright, so you need to be aware, make up some rules so that you at least know what to do next. Now, what I can see right now on the Aussie dollar is I can actually see two things. First thing I can see is we were talking about divergence last week on a daily chart. It is now confirmed. All right, so if you look at my indicator down the bottom, it's pointing in an upward direction and the price is going down, which would suggest this. Okay, now hang on, don't go out and go long Aussie dollar just yet. It's just one point of view on a daily chart. If I step into my 4-hour chart, on my 4-hour chart, what do I see? In my 4-hour chart, I've also got divergence, but I've got it the other way. So you've got my highs are there, and it's pointing in a downward direction. And if I look at my indicator, it's pointing in an upward direction, and this would be classified as hidden divergence, which means the market would be going in that way there. All right, so I'm showing you this just to basically highlight to you that divergence on its own, it's not enough to take a trade. I always like to see a couple of different things, okay, and basically try and measure it out that way. Now, Karen's saying there's a bit of consolidation happening, and I think on a daily chart you can kind of see that a little bit through here. So if I was to draw kind of, I can start to box it out in there, and possibly yes. But what I can actually see, and the best trade that I can find for us on the Aussie dollar is, I'm still I'm trying to find short trades at every opportunity that I can. Okay, I'll keep that always until I feel that the market's changed, and I feel that this is going to head towards that 73 level. So at every opportunity that I find a trade to go short, I will take it. So with that in mind, off my daily chart, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for some kind of a candle formation to happen there. Give me a nice inside candle with a fractal, and then I'm going to hit that trade in that direction. I don't have that yet, but that is always in the back of my mind. So keep it there. Let me go to the 4-hour chart. This is what I can see. This is the best one. If I grab a line and I draw it across the top of these two, this is the line that I'm hoping will be obeyed. Okay, and what I'm going to be looking for, notice that on a 4-hour chart the trading area expanded, it went lower and went higher. Okay, so remember, when it expands, automatically we start to look for triangles. So I will also draw a line here. Now I don't know where to place this one yet. That's definitely not right, but it could be something like this. I don't know where this area is just yet, so I need to confirm it. The top line is locked. Okay, so that one is locked. I've got two touching points. The bottom one is not, but we will find out where it is. But at the moment, it's locked. And what I might get an opportunity to do is, it looks like I may get a break-in trade down on my 4-hour chart. So what I mean by that is, the trade that I'm really looking for is this to come make a turnaround. At that point I will be able to lock in the bottom line, and then something like this, and bang, that's the trade I'm looking for. Okay, this one could be ready maybe in about 20 candles, so that might be in about a day and a half, 2 days, something like that. Alright, so keep an eye on that one. Lois is also saying that there might be a T-chaser on a 4-hour chart. I haven't checked for that, Lois, but I believe that you know the T-chaser quite well, so have a look at that, guys, on a 4-hour. But this is the big trade. This is the one that we want. Alright, so there would be a good easy 200, 250 points in this trade. It could be the trade that breaks you into the 75s. Alright, keep that one, and you'll either see it via the 4-hour break-in triangle, or you'll see it on a daily chart as a pullback and a fractal price action trade. Alright, now one last thing I'll say on the 4-hour chart. Let me zoom in. there was a trade. You would have had to seen it on Friday right there. Okay, there's your fractal inside bar off the top with divergence. Okay, with divergence. That's when you really like your trade. So you got your divergence happening, you got your price action, it's all in the correct spot. That's when you hit that trade. Alright, now we've missed that, but nevertheless it's nice to see it so that you can see it for the time it occurs on you next time. Alright, so Aussie dollar, let's keep an eye on this triangle, and let's keep an eye on our daily charts to see if we get a fractal up the top. I want to trade with a trend down. Okay, next, EURUSD. Alright, show of hands, who took the EURUSD Twitter trade, and two, who's still in that trade? I want to see a show of hands. If you're in it, just be honest. If you took it in demo, that counts as well. Lois, yes and yes. Brett, yes. Brett, are you still in? Roy, still in. Rav, yes. Russell, yes. Brett said no, he's not in. Did you get stopped out, Brett? Karen says no. Okay. I know also, because I got an email about it, Bijan was in too and stopped out as well. So, okay, so I want to talk about this because a couple of people asked me about this trade via email and they got stopped out of the trade, but you should not have been stopped out of the trade. So I'm going to really zoom in and let's have a close look. The reason for the trade, for the ones that didn't get the Twitter signal, basically we're on a downtrend and we're trying to hit a trade to continue down. Okay, that's the purpose of the trade. The setup was this two candles right there. This one has the fractal. The candle straight after is an inside candle. So at the break of that bottom, which happened right here, right where I've just made that mark, we go short. Now the stop has to be at the top of the fractal right there, but I know that some of you put the stop at the top of this candle and effectively got stopped out right there. Is that the case for the ones that got stopped out? Is that how? Yes, okay, yes, I'm getting confirmation. I won't call out people's names, but yes. Alright, the stop has to be over here, guys. Remember what this strategy is trying to do. I'll just draw over here on the side. What you're trying to do is the market's going down, it pulls up and it does this, and we're trying to catch the trade over here somewhere. We're not catching it at the top because that's impossible. We're catching it over here somewhere once we're getting confirmation that it's going to continue. So the natural logical place is you've got to put your stop back just above the top, because if the trade then goes up and stops you out, well then we were wrong and then we want to walk away from the trade. Okay, so the stop had to be over here, okay, above the candle with the fractal. Alright, so that's the first thing that I wanted to say about this one. If you got caught up on that, no, that's just unlucky, not a problem, it's part of learning. Technically, we're still in this trade. It's still a valid trade. Now, yes, it's going sideways and there's a big battle going on, but everything is pointing really in a nice direction, and I'm just hoping that we finally break through and we head down into this territory. So, for the EURUSD right now, I don't have a trade for you because I'm still in a trade. Alright, let me have a quick look at a 4-hour chart, see if I can see anything contradictory or different. Okay, on the 4-hour chart, I've actually got confirmation to be in this trade. I'll show you. Draw a line up there, and now when I draw this bottom line, people might draw it like this. Okay, now I'll talk about this. If you were just looking at your chart right now, you would draw it like this. If you were looking at it last Thursday, you would have drawn it like this. And you know what? Drawing it like I'm showing it right now is in fact correct, because we had a touch and the market went back to the other side. Okay, so the correct placement of this line is exactly where it is right now. With that in mind, you could have had a trade short here. Okay, trade off that same line. Can everybody see that trade? Do I have to explain it? Yes, fantastic. Okay, all right. So we could have had one trade there, but that we didn't get that. That's okay. But look now, right now we have got a sell signal on it as well. We have, remember last week we spoke about how we're going to do this. Now, yes, we haven't cleared that low because we're at the same level, but if you went off this theory here, you could enter off that candle, or if you're super cautious, wait till you break this low. You could put in a pending order right there and go in. I'm already in based off what we spoke of just a short moment ago, so I'm already in. I actually like the fact that I see a second reason to go into this trade. Okay, just a couple of comments here. Karen saying that she cancelled the order where it didn't trigger after the first day. Actually, Karen, my EURUSD triggered straight away. The one that did not trigger was the USCAD. I don't look at the USCAD on a Monday, but just for the record, I'll pull it up in one moment. As soon as I do this one, I'll just quickly look at that. But the Euro did trigger. Oh, for me it did, and we're all on the same account, so maybe you placed it later or something. Okay? Alright, fantastic. So EURUSD, we're in a short. I've got a confirmation, but this was a really good example to show you about line placements. Okay? Let me now quickly jump over to that USCAD. I just want to have a quick look at it. Daily chart. Okay, USCAD. I don't have a fractal indicator on this one. There we go. This was the setup. I sent out this one and the EURUSD simultaneously. There was the setup. Very, very clear. Everybody can see that. Everybody understands what we're trying to do. In Twitter, I'm limited to how many, I can't write a whole paragraph explaining the trade, so I'm just showing you the picture, and hopefully you understand the stops and what triggers and when to come back and cancel it. Okay, guys? So I drew the picture. That's what I actually sent, or something like that, I believe. And the order would be, if it breaks that top, you go in that direction. Now, it didn't break. If it breaks the bottom, you cancel the order. It didn't break the bottom either. So then what happened, we had another inside bar again. So then what you do is the order drops down to break that one. That's where we go up. Or if you break this one, you cancel. And you can see here that little tail right there broke the bottom. So therefore the order was cancelled, and that's it. We didn't get triggered into this trade. So if anybody has still got this order in the market, you've got to go back and cancel it. Okay? Did everybody cancel this order out? Yep. Karen, yes. Lois, yes. Good, good. All right. So very important. So that was a quick explanation on the USCAD. All right, let me continue on. Let's go to the GBPUSD. GBPUSD. What I'm looking for here is, this one's pretty straightforward. Everybody agrees that I'm on a daily chart. Everybody agrees that we are in a downtrend. Okay, it looks very, very much of a downtrend. Now, there was a period of consolidation over here. Okay, is this going to be the start of a turnaround? I don't know yet. Until I get confirmation, I wouldn't really trade it upwards. But what I am looking for, I'm looking to trade it still downwards. Okay, and what I'm particularly looking for is I am waiting to see how this current candle will finish up. What I'm hoping is that this candle stays inside like this. For example, tomorrow I would get a fractal on top of that one, and then as the candle opens tomorrow over there, I will place my order to sell down there in this direction. I don't know if this is going to be the case until tomorrow. So tomorrow when I analyze my charts, if I see it, I will call it out. Okay, this is what I'm looking for, and it matches what I like about that. Okay, if it turns out that this is the level, and it can't be too much lower because otherwise we would break this one down here, it would make the trade this much risk. And I said trade at 2 to 1. 2 to 1 puts me still without breaking the bottom, which is good. Okay, because we could consolidate a little bit, and even if we are in consolidation, even if it drops half of that, it's enough for me to take some profit and move my stop. Okay, so it's a trade. We took this trade before as well. We took it over here inside the consolidation, so when there's enough room for it, you can do it. Now, I don't know if this is consolidation and it's about to run upwards. If it is about to run upwards, hopefully the way that we're trading will get the protection, because we'll get the break up, which cancels all of our orders. Okay, so I'm going to wait till tomorrow, and I should have my setup confirmed, and if I do, I'll call it out and we can jump in on it tomorrow. Okay, let me have a quick look on a 4-hour chart. There was something that I was catching my eye before. No, what I was looking at was, I was particularly interested in this little setup here, but this has broken up, so not interested. All I got for the GBPUSD is wait till tomorrow for the confirmation on my daily chart. Okay, US yen. Okay, US yen, what have I got? Oh, I remember. I was tracking, I can see it. We were tracking a triangle, weren't we? Like I said, all my charts. Okay, let me just draw that in a second. Let me just, when I'm a little bit not so sure of the placement of the line, okay, so here I'm thinking I could have the line there, and I'm getting 3 touches. Can I have the line a little bit lower? Let me just, I always drop down a time frame and I just check to see if it fits in nicely. Okay, it seems, who's happy with where I've drawn it? Oh, are we happy with that placement on that line there? Does anybody not like it? Yep. Okay. Alright, so we're happy with that. I'm just about got my entry signal. So I need to wait for this break. See if I get it. Now, we spoke about how to enter this trade in last week's class. Okay, so everything that we spoke about last week is relevant to a live situation right now. This one may happen this week. Alright, so it may even happen at the end of this candle. If this candle, for example, finishes up here somewhere, like that, that's it. I'm happy to take that. Okay, it doesn't have to finish all the way up there for me. In many ways, for some reason, I keep wanting to draw the line a bit like this, which puts me, well anyway, we're right about. So I want to take out this high, that high there, but I want the candle to close above it as well. If that happens, I'm ready to go up. Okay? Now, where am I going to put my stop? You can place your stop below this fractal. Okay? Size up your trade, and as a target, this is your target area here. Okay, and if this is going to be your risk, it's going to be about close to a 2-to-1 trade, 1.75 in that vicinity, and that's just visually from what I've just drawn on my chart. Okay, thanks, Alan. Yeah, this is how I think I had my line last week. Okay, so also, sometimes we get hung up looking for a trade going long. We could get a short trade out of this as well. We could get a short trade, so keep your eye on that. If this candle right now, let's say it finishes here, like that, then I'm left with what you'll see is tomorrow you'll get a fractal on top of that one. Okay, and I'll have a setup here to trade the break back down to the other side of the channel again, and there's enough room depending on how big this candle comes down. There's enough room. Okay, so sometimes what happens to me is I'm so concentrating on the trade that I want, which is that one, that I forget about the little inside one. And you know what? That's a nice 2-to-1 trade. Even if that'll be the risk, there's just about enough in there. Okay, so if this triggers tomorrow, what I may do is, if I have to cut down the profit from 2-to-1 to 1.7-to-1, I will do that. All right, because I respect this bottom line, and I definitely want to take profit. If my profit means that I have to go through it, that's just a little bit silly. All right, not that it's not going to go through, but I prefer to get out before it bouncing back and giving everything back. Does that make sense? Fantastic. All right, so tomorrow, this will be confirmed tomorrow. All right, since we're in such a critical range, if we close above that, we're pretty much ready to go that way. If we close below and not breaking it, then we could get an inside bar to go down. All right, so I'll call this one out tomorrow. That's all I got. US yen. Let's have a look at gold. Okay, gold. I've lost all my things. Okay, I remember gold. We were tracking a triangle. Okay, the triangle trade is now officially over. Okay, we didn't quite reach our full target. I believe our full target was about there somewhere. Okay, we got very, very close to it, but we didn't quite get there. At the halfway mark, we should have all moved our stops to break even at the very least and take some profit. So if you did that, you would have got out of the trade in that area there, and I think there's about 450 pips on half the trade. The second half of the trade, you would get stopped out over here. Okay, so that's gold. It's done. It's dusted. We now need to start looking for the next big trade. Alright, so what I can see right now is we also had a look at this setup here to go long. It broke down, which basically meant the order was cancelled. Okay, so we never got triggered into the trade with these ones. We actually got 3 inside candles in a row, and then it broke the bottom, so it got cancelled out, so nothing happened there. But what I can see at the moment is I'm looking for something to happen. If I draw a low from here to here, okay, and I want to extend out this line because I like that, I'm going to respect that line, so I'm going to extend it out. I'm particularly keen to see some kind of activity in this area here, okay, and particularly this kind of activity. Alright, at the moment gold has fallen off significantly, mainly because of the strength of the US dollar. Alright, so, but I'm looking for some kind of a bounce. Okay, now Lois is saying there was a 4-hour counter trend trade on this one. I'm sure there was, Lois, especially after that big line there. So the trade that you could look for is this. Look for price action on a daily chart around about the 61.8 fib level, or something occurring around this bottom support line. Okay, now the beauty of trading off that daily candle is that you get time for confirmation and you don't get caught up in the euphoria. Alright, so look for something in the 61.8 or this support line, and this is what we're looking for. I'll be looking for it as well. If I see it, I'll call it out. Okay, any questions on this one? We're all good? Fantastic. Okay, let's have a look at the Euro Yen. There's only one thing I can see on this one. Let's see if I can draw it out. Okay. I mean, there's a little bit of a channel. Okay, it is a confirmed channel because we have 1, 2, 3 touches, 1, 2 touches right there. We are pretty much in the middle of it. So what I'm going to do with the Euro Yen is I'm going to look for channel trades back on the inside. Okay, this is what we're going to look for. I believe you're going to get some. I think within the week you could get one. Okay, so keep an eye on it. They will come. If you look at that, you couldn't have traded this one. Or this one, you couldn't have traded this one. The first channel trade that I think you could have traded is this one here. Because at this point you would have confirmed those points at the top, and you could confirm that one, and over here you'll take in the opinion that if you break that point there that it's going to go up, and therefore that confirms the bottom point. So this trade is the first trade that you could have taken here on the 4-hour. I think if I put my counter trend strategy on this, I'd probably get a signal here as well. Okay, but one thing as well that I noticed on this one, let me just quickly, 1 second, is that there was also a little bit of divergence confirming in this area. Okay, oh no, not really, no, but this, you could have taken that. So this is the kind of trade that we're going to be looking for here and here. Okay, so just be patient with this one. There's a nice trade. This channel's got some good width. What are we talking about? If, let's say, if you got to travel from there to there, that's 140 pips, and that's only about 60% of the channel. Okay, guys, so there's a lot of meat in that. So be patient, put it on your radar, put it on one of your spare screens, and just watch this channel. Alright, Let's move on. Kiwi dollar. I want to see if I can get a trade off today. What have I got? Kiwi dollar. We nearly had a trade trigger here, but it broke up and then came back down. We nearly had a setup off these two candles on the Kiwi dollar. The only thing I can think of with this one, let me just have a quick look at a 4 hour. There's actually a trade right now. It's a little bit aggressive. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm looking for tomorrow, and then I'll tell you the trade right now. Give me a second. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to be hoping that these two give me an inside candle setup with the fractal. Okay, which will be the trade down. But I don't know until tomorrow. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. The trade that I can see right now, let me zoom out so I can show it to you a bit better. First of all, I will start with drawing in a line from across the top. Now this line is pretty solid. It's got 3 good touches, so I'm happy with this line. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so the line is good. Alright. Secondly, I could wait for a touch there to shoot off there, but there's a trade on already right now. I'll show it to you. Oh, there's only one problem with this trade. I just saw it. Who can tell me what the problem with this trade is? Anybody? I'm trying to trade an inside candle. I've been triggered down, but there's one thing. Brett says there's hidden divergence. Yes, that's good. Actually, the divergence is something that makes me want to trade more. But what did I speak about at the start of the session? Phil, got it. 2 fractals. This candle's got 2 fractals. Okay, so you need to have a set of rules so that you can make a decision on what your situation is. Are you allowed to trade a candle with 2 fractals, or are you not allowed to trade a candle with 2 fractals? If you are, it's a great setup because one, you've got the divergence. This is going up. This is going down. Okay, so that means the divergence is going to drag you down naturally. So that's a good thing. And you've got an inside candle and you've broken the low, so you're heading back down in this direction. So everything is saying go short, really good. The only one thing is, are you allowed to take it because you got 2 fractals? So now you need to make a decision. Okay, if you do decide, you could jump in at market right now because you're actually getting a better price than the trigger price. So the trigger price would have been just roughly 73.46, and right now you're at 73, roughly 70, so you're about 25 pips, 24 pips better off than the trigger price. Okay, so if anybody likes it, go for it. If you don't, that's okay. The other once this if this trade is successful and goes down, what we will look for next is we're going to look for a triangle over here. Okay, and the reason I'm looking for a triangle is because notice that my area expanded. See that area there? We broke the low, and then immediately went back to the other side, broke the high. So when I do that, I immediately start to look for triangles. The fact that we've got this set up in front of this suggests to me that we could be going down to some point over there. So probability wise, you know, if you ever watch the poker players and they have a little number in the bottom corner, the probability of getting the next hand is 62%, 72. I don't know the number, but everything is really lined up nicely for this trade. Alright, so I'm thinking I'm going to take it. I'm taking the trade. Give me 1 second, guys. My risk is going to be 90 pips, but I'm going to risk $50 on it. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to go in at market. I am selling. I'm going to risk 50 Australian dollars. This is in the copy account, guys. Okay, so if you don't want to double up on the trade, 90. Okay, so don't place it if you don't want to double up. Take profit. We're going to go for now. This one's actually this line. Let me get rid of it because I don't know where that line's going to be yet. I'm going to go for 125, so it's not quite 2 to 1, but I might adjust that later. The risks part is locked in. Here we go. 50 sell Kiwi dollar. Okay, it's in. Okay, so it's taken a 0.04 trade. Okay, so that's in. It's on the copy account, so don't double up if you don't want to. Does everybody understand the reason for this trade? I'm trading inside candles with divergence and an expanding trading area, which signifies that we could be going into a converging triangle. Okay, so let's just see what happens. Last one for the day, Euro Aussie. Okay, Euro Aussie. Okay, the Euro Aussie. This is a daily chart, by the way. Everybody can clearly see that are we in a trend? Are we not in a trend? It's all over the place. It's doing this and then that. This section here was a very rapid descent, which from peak to peak was roughly 1,300 pips, which is significant. Then it's bounced straight back up 900 pips. There was one trade that triggered when I do a fib from the top to the bottom here. I get a bit of activity on the 61.8 level. Now it's not a fib round number type of trade, but working off a daily chart, especially if you get a candle that'll get up to a fib but put its wick through it but not close on the other side, okay, which this candle here, it's a little bit squashy in there, that candle there does. Okay, now that's not a good enough reason to take the trade. However, zooming in, I immediately get a inside candle setup situation, which is these two. Oops, it's a bit wonky, but those two there. So I get the inside candles and you get triggered into the trade over there. And if you took that trade right now, you're in at exactly break even. Okay, now it looks like the market's opened higher on the Aussie. It would have been nicer for this to be down here right now and well into its journey, but this is a trade that you can take. Sometimes if you get price action happening on a 61.8 fib level, I might do a class on that. They're valid setups. Okay, it's the only thing that I can see right now. If I had taken that trade, I would be in the market with this one. So if anybody likes that, wants to at least watch it, just keep an eye on this one. Okay, on a 4-hour chart, is there a bit of a channel there? Let me get rid of those fib levels so that they don't annoy me. Is that a channel? Let's have a look. Did I have a channel on this last week, guys? It's close-ish. Yeah, I don't think so either. Or maybe I'm trying to squeeze it all in. Let me just try something. If this is a channel, at the very least, I think the bottom line is good. I'm trying to get the top one to fit in. It's kind of fit in, but it's not quite. But the bottom one is, if the bottom one is good, there's a trade here as a long, right here. And even if we're thinking trend, it's already triggered though, and it's already on its way. Okay, just keep an eye on this. There's no trade. We're not going to take a trade on the euro. But you can see what I'm trying to do. I'm just a little bit annoyed that this bit popped out, so it's really spoilt my picture. But otherwise, I could maybe get a trade out of that in this direction. Okay, so not to worry, nothing there. Any questions on anything that I've covered today while I recap? Let me have a quick look at my recap. Aussie dollar, what are we waiting for? Aussie dollar 4-hour chart. We're waiting for the bottom to see if we can see the bottoming out or the break of this triangle formation on a 4-hour chart. So we're trying to wait for that. EURUSD, same thing. We're already in a EURUSD trade short, so that one's okay. GBPUSD, let's wait till tomorrow. Let's see if this candle gives us what we're looking for. Somebody mentioned to me before as well that we've got a fishing strip on this one as well, if anybody's interested. There you go. There's a fishing strip for you on a daily chart if anybody's interested. That's GBPUSD. I just remembered that. Okay, US yen, we got this triangle. We're waiting for a break, and we could get a setup to go short, or we could get a long. Okay, we will know tomorrow. Gold, we're interested to see what happens at the 61.8 fib level. Euro yen, we're in the middle of a channel. This is a really nice channel. I like this one a lot. The touches are really, really good. So there's going to be something in this. Okay, keep an eye on that one. Kiwi dollar, we just shorted. We went in at market. We're trading divergence and price action inside candle off a top resistance line. Fingers crossed. And then Euro Aussie, a lot of close ones, but nothing there. Nothing for us. any final questions before we call it a day? Does anybody want me to have a look at something before we wrap it up?